Good afternoon, everyone. It is Tuesday, November the 10th, 2020. It is currently 2:05 p.m. Central Time. I'm coming to you live from Ovalo, Texas, and it's a beautiful, warm November day here in West Texas. There's not a cloud in the sky. It's about 75 degrees. It's beautiful. When I arrived here at the church, I left the door open for a few minutes, and I'm like, it's pretty nice outside. But the door's now closed. I have everything hooked up. I'm now broadcasting live. So thank you for tuning in. If you are listening to me live, I always appreciate that. If you're not listening to me live and you want to know how to listen to me when I'm actually live on the air, it's free. It's simple. Just email me at newsif@yahoo.com. newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com. Say, I want to listen to you live. I use an Apple, an Apple device or an Android device, or tell me what you're using, and I will send you a link so that you can listen to us live whenever we're live on the air, which is usually, if you kind of average it out, we basically are live on the air a few hours each day, if you kind of really think about it. But there are days I take off, but I'm just saying, if you look at how many hours I'm live on the air, say on a Sunday, it kind of makes up for not being live on the air on a Monday. All right. But I wasn't live on the air yesterday, but then here I am today, and I'll be live on the air for a little bit today. I don't have as much time available to me as I would like, because we have a lot of things to talk about today. We really do. But before we get to all of that, I'm going to do something that podcasters sometimes some podcasters like to do this. Maybe put it this way: as a podcaster, I like to do this because I, as a listener, like to hear this. I sometimes kind of like to hear what's going on behind the scenes, right? What's going on? And so for this episode, I'm going to kind of take you a little bit behind the scenes. Share some frustrations, kind of share a little bit of success, kind of tell you what we're trying to do, what we're accomplishing, and take some time to thank you, because I know there are millions of podcasts, and I know for you as a podcast listener, you download a podcast app, you scroll through, you see a podcast, you hit play, and you move on. It really, it doesn't really mean that much to you because you've got so many things to choose from. But for the people who produce those podcasts, every listen is like, you don't even understand how important it is. I understand that some of those larger podcasters that, have millions of listens, that it may be easy for them to take for granted that download, that stream, that listen. But for those of us who are smaller podcasts, every listen is like, a victory. We hit refresh to look at our statistics, and we're like, oh, look, another person listened, another download. And it's a big deal for us. So I know it's easy for you to just go, I listened, who cares, move on. But trust me, without you, the listener, podcasters, well, we can't have any success. At some point, we're just, individuals sitting in an empty room talking to ourselves, which then, calls into question our mental health. But if you're listening, then we're not talking to ourselves. So whenever you listen to, and this is not just about me, to any podcast, understand how important that listen is and how important you are, because you really determine the success. See, for the podcaster, all we can do is turn on the microphone and talk and try to produce something that we hope people will find to be interesting, challenging, maybe controversial. Every podcaster kind of has a different goal in what they're trying to accomplish. But every time I try to produce an episode, I'm hoping someone out there will like it. That's really all I can do. At that point, then my success is dependent upon you. Do you like it? Do you subscribe? Do you write a review? Do you leave a 5-star rating? Do you share it with other people? Do you post the episode on your social media, or share it to your email group, or share it with you become really the key to my success. Without you, I can only do so much. So thank you so much for everyone who listens. For those of you who have supported us financially, thank you so very much. For those of you who support us by writing a review, leaving a rating, sharing. Thank you so very much. We really, really greatly appreciate it. And I know that my podcast probably, a lot of your Christian friends, I'm probably just going to irritate more than I'm probably going. I know that I tend to go against, many cases, the majority. And so that makes mine kind of I'm kind of the alternative Christian podcast, because in many cases I go against the way lots of Christians think. But I think there needs to be a place for people's thinking to be challenged. So that's what we try to do. So let me just get the thank you out of the way right from the start. Thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for the listens, for the shares, for the streams, for the subscriptions, for the follows, wherever you're listening, whatever they call it, if it's called subscribe or follow, depending on the podcast app. We greatly appreciate it. I look every day to see where we're getting all of our listens from. Spotify's really been doing the best lately. Apple Podcast is catching up to Spotify. Those have been really the two dominant forces. We've got some other, Amazon Music is starting to move up, and we've got a lot of, I'm just always looking, going, okay, where iHeartRadio's been doing really well. So wherever you are, I may not know who you are, but, if you want to know, if you want to let me know who you are, if you want to let me know how you discovered me, how you discovered the podcast, how long you've been listening, what you like and what you don't like, you can always share your thoughts, your encouragement, whatever, to newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. So we get the thank you out of the way. Now, here's the update. I can announce today that our podcast, the Theology Central podcast, the VBC podcast, the VBC Bible Institute podcast. I haven't looked for the non-Catholic Catholic podcast. In fact, I may do a search here in a minute just to make sure it's there. But they are now available on Audible. Now, if you don't know what Audible is an app primarily focused on audiobooks. That's primarily what it's focused on, but now it's in the podcasting business. So it now serves as an audiobook app and as a podcasting app. So if you use Audible for your listening to audiobooks, you can now, while in between the book, or if you listen to 10 chapters, want to take a break, you can now go over and listen to Theology Central, VBC Bible Institute, all in the same app. And let me make sure the non-Catholic Catholic is there. I'm going to download Audible really quick. Let me download Audible. I forgot to check before I hit the big red go live button. So give me a second. It's downloading. I'm out here in the middle of nowhere, Texas, so the internet is relatively slow, so it takes forever to open. Okay, here we go. Opening up Audible. All right, I got to sign in. Let me get to sign in with my Amazon account. I'm not going to tell you what that is, even though many years ago, a certain individual hacked that, but we won't talk about what happened then. They hacked everything, but that's another story for another day. All right, here we go. We're logging into Audible. All right, here's Audible. Let me go to the search bar. Let's put in the non-Catholic Catholic. All right. And there it is, the non-Catholic Catholic. Yes. It's right there. Follow podcast to have new episodes automatically added to your library. And the latest episode is Catholicism and the Doctrine of Imputation, Part 2. So it is available as well. So we are now available on Audible. So please, if you use audiobooks, please follow us there as well. Now, of course, the only place to listen to us live is the Spreaker app. And, we're still working on some, you can listen to me live whenever we're live by going to our website, vbc66.org. That's vbc66.org. Go to, let me just pull up the website. We're doing so many different things. Sometimes I don't remember every instruction for everything we do. vbc66.org. Pull here the menu, listen now. Yeah, listen now, Theology Central. And look, we are live on the air. If you go to...
Looking at our world from a theological perspective,
this is
Theology
us.
Central podcast, making theology central.
There we go. There we go. That is us. Here we go. You're going to hear me. I'm going to be way delayed, but you're going to hear me. If you go to... There we go. All right. So, yeah, we're way delayed, but there we are. And so if you go to listen now, you can listen to us live, whatever podcast that I'm live under. So definitely go to vbc66.org. That's another way to listen to us live. Right now for Theology Central, 562 episodes are available, making up 397 hours of content. So we've got plenty of content for you to listen to. So we're available on Audible. So if you use it, go ahead and follow us there. And again, if you want to listen to us live, the website is an easy way, vbc66.org. That's vbc66.org under the Listen Now tab, all right? And we're going to try to come up with some other ways to pull that off as well. The only thing that limits us ultimately is money. That's what limits us. But we're doing everything we can within our budget. So that's what's happening there. And again, thanks to those who have helped support. We greatly appreciate it. Now, let's move on to the other news. All right, there's Audible. Oh boy, the next news is so frustrating. Oh, the next news is so frustrating. All right, I'm just going to make sure. All right, before I just got an email. All right, I just found out that we're now on the charts in Costa Rica under religion and spirituality. We're on the chart in Hungary, Cambodia, Nepal, Poland, Vietnam. Okay, we're on the charts and a number of other countries. So that's good. That's good to know. All right, but I didn't get the email I want. All right, so let me explain what happened. All right. We have been trying for a very, 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 very long time to get on the Edifi Christian podcast app. All right. Now, if you go to the Edifi app in your app store, whether Google or Apple, the Google Play Store, the Apple the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. There we go. And you go there and you do a search for Edifi. That's the Edifi Christian podcasting app. You will notice that this app, I think it claims to have over 2 million Christian podcasts. All right. Over 2 million Christian podcasts. That's wonderful. That's awesome. All your Christian podcasts under one app. And it appears they clearly don't have a doctrinal statement or a theological statement that one has to sign because you'll notice you have everything from Greek Orthodox to Roman Catholics to charismatics to women pastors to Reformed people to independent fundamental Baptists. You've got everything in between on the Edifi app. So it's all right there. So when I discovered the app, I was like, okay, email them and say, what do we have to do? Why are we not on there? I mean, because clearly not all of these people submitted their app to the Edifi app and then went through a review process. Clearly they were just pulling from, I don't know, maybe RSS feeds that had Christianity or theology in the tag. I mean, I don't know how they all ended up there, but there's just stuff from every theological persuasion that you can imagine on the Edifi app. And I'm like, oh, this is a cool idea. I have the Theology Central podcast. We have the VBC podcast, the VBC Bible Institute podcast, and the Non-Catholic Catholic podcast. These are all sermons, Bible studies, discussions about theology. We would fit in perfectly here. And this would give us a chance to reach people who are specifically looking for theological things. I mean, when we're on Spotify, SoundCloud, and all of Amazon Music, we're on apps where a large portion of the people using those apps may not have any desire to see anything related to Christianity. They're not looking for Bible studies, sermons, or theology. Now, I like being there because I don't want to, in a sense, just preach to the choir. So I want our stuff everywhere. That's wonderful. But I mean, come on. We want to be on an app like Edifi to reach people who are looking for sermons or Bible studies or theological discussions. And I think we could possibly have a good impact there. So I started emailing the people from Edifi. You've heard the story. It's been, I don't know, 20 times, 30 times. Please, contact me. Please. No reply, no reply, no reply, no reply. I even wrote a review on their app, on the Apple App Store saying, hey, contact me. What do we have to do? And again, no reply. Finally, I get a reply. I believe a week ago, maybe over a week ago now, saying, yes, we will consider you, send us the link. So I sent them the link, right? I sent them the link. And then, you hear nothing. I keep emailing. Can you give me an update? Can you give me an update? Okay. Give me this information. So I would, send them that information. And then, no reply, no response. So then I'm like, come on, give me an update. And then it's like, hey, we've got to go, it's got to go through the review process. And I'm like, what review process? I mean, what's the thing holding us back? They did not send me an email saying, here's a doctrinal statement you have to agree to, because obviously there's not a doctrinal statement, because what would be the doctrinal statement? They've got they've got crazy stuff on there. So, I mean, like, what do we have to do? And nothing. So I sent them on, I think, Friday of last week. I responded to one of their, they needed more information. So I sent them, a link to our websites, our pod pages, which has our doctrinal statement, which has everything. And then all of a sudden today, this morning, I receive an email, again, no update on where we are in the review process, just saying, please tell us about the church. Well, I've already sent you the church website. What more do you need? So I go through our doctrinal statement. I go through everything. But in fact, I'm just going to read you the email because I think I probably hurt her. We're probably never going to end up on the Edifi app now. I probably ticked them off, right? I'm going to do a refresh one more time. Oh, I just got an email from Alex Jones. That should be interesting to read. Okay. Or not. Okay. All right. Okay, here we go. So this is what I sent this morning. All right. Because this is just so crazy. So I tell them that the church is an independent Baptist church. The church is located in Ovalo, Texas. Our doctrinal statement is the 1689 London Baptist Confession of Faith. We also utilize the Apostles' Creed, Nicene Creed, the Athanasian Creed. We are a church dedicated to the in-depth teaching of the Scriptures, theology, and church history. I pointed out that on Friday, I sent a link to our website, which contains all of the above information. And I pointed out that the Edifi app has plenty of independent Baptist churches on it. And then this is where I probably got ourselves in trouble, but that's okay. Here we go. I stated the Edifi app. I said, I'm trying to understand what may be causing such a delay. The Edifi app features podcasts from Ravi Zacharias. His ministry is currently under investigation for possible years of sexual misconduct and assault, and his program has been removed from the Bible Broadcasting Network. However, it's on Edifi, so that doesn't stop you from getting on a Christian podcast app. So why would we? I pointed out the Edifi app features podcasts that are filled with conspiracy theories. For example, listen to, and I give them a link to the Edifi app, one called Election Aftermath. 2020 PSYOP continues. Chaos brings the NWO, the New World Order. And if you listen to that thing, it's just like, what are you talking about? It's filled with craziness. And then here's the icing on the cake. The Edifi app has the podcast Contending for the Truth by Dr. Scott Johnson. Now, his conspiracy theories got so crazy, he was kicked off Sermon Audio years ago. Sermon Audio was like, this has gone too far. This is too much. Now, now, to be fair, I don't even know if that was fair to kick him off Sermon Audio, because if you look at all the other crazy conspiracy theories on Sermon Audio, I don't know if that was fair, but I mean, ultimately Sermon Audio can do what they want. But the point is, if you can have that kind of craziness, you can have people who are accused of sexual assault and all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, if you read the accusations going on there, I mean, you're crazy. Then, and you've got Catholics, you've got women preachers. I mean, you've got everything. Then what's the deal? Like, what is your review process? So I basically pointed all of that out going, come on, what's the deal? I ended my email with this. I think we definitely should be considered if all of that is allowed. If there's a doctrinal statement we need to agree to, please send it to me to look over. However, considering everything from Baptist to Catholic and everything in between is available on the app, I'm not sure there could be a doctrinal statement one must agree to. Our podcasts do very well in the general podcast world of Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify, Amazon Music, etc. However, our podcast is focused on theology, sermons, and Bible teaching. So I thought an app like Edifi, which seems to be focused on those similar things, may help us reach an audience that is specifically looking for those exact things. Please let me know something soon so I can tell my audience to check us out on Audifi or if I should just move on. I really appreciate you giving us any consideration, and I've tried to do everything I can to move your consideration forward. I honestly believe, based on everything available on the Edifi app, that we should be allowed on it as well. However, it's not our app, and I understand the decision is not ours. Thank you for your time. And then I placed my name. Now, I haven't heard anything back. That I sent that at 8:27 a.m. It's now 2:26 p.m., and I haven't heard a sound. Not a reply, not a thing. I truly don't understand. I truly don't understand what the issue is. I'm pretty sure Joel Osteen's on there. I know Beth Moore's on there. Joyce Meyer is on there. I'm assuming T.D. Jakes is probably on there. In fact, let me go to the Edifi app just to see. I could be wrong. And T.D. Jakes, doesn't even hold to the doctrine of the Trinity. So let me look here. It's just bizarre. T.D. Jakes. Let me look here. I could be wrong. Yeah, the Potter's Touch, T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes is on there. So T.D. Jakes can be on a Christian podcast where he's modalist. He teaches modalism, Sabellianism, denying the doctrine of the Trinity. That's okay. But a Baptist church that holds to the historical creeds of the church and the London Baptist Confession of 1689, no. We can't be on there. Isn't that the most bizarre? Like it almost sounds like something in a conspiracy theory, but I just don't get what the issue is. What's the hang up? I mean, clearly they just pull in stuff from everywhere. And they've not sent me a doctrinal statement. It's like they're just stringing me along. We need more information. We need what information? Why can't you just ask me for the information in the first email saying, here are the requirements to be on the app. Do you meet said requirements? Do you agree to the following? And then we'll get you on there. I don't understand. All they got to do is grab my RSS feeds and then place it, just pull from my RSS feeds. That's all they have to do. It's really, I don't want to believe there's a conspiracy, but it just makes no sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know if I'm ever going to hear back from them. So I guess here's the reality of it. Theology Central, VBC Bible Institute, and the non-Catholic Catholic are not welcomed on a Christian podcasting app. That's the reality. It's frustrating. It's disheartening. It's discouraging because I really thought that this would put us before an audience that may be looking for those kinds of things, but we're not welcomed. I don't get it. And I thought, maybe I'm a little critical to things going on in Christianity. Well, Fighting for the Faith with Chris Roseborough, I think is how he says his last name, is on there. Well, I mean, he analyzes sermons. He listens to sermons. He criticizes what's going on in Christianity. So I don't get it. It can't be the quality of what we produce as far as sound, because I've spent hours on the Edifi app and I've heard things that sound like they were recorded in a wind tunnel with a microphone that was 3 miles away. Some of the things recorded on there are horribly produced. So we at least meet the minimum requirement of audio requirements. But I don't even understand it. Like, do I need to say the following podcast episode may or may not go along with the views of the Edifi app? I mean, I got no problem if I need to read a warning before that. But I don't know what we say that's so controversial. I mean, what have I ever said that's controversial? I really don't get it. So that's what's going on with Edifi. I don't think I'm going to hear back. I honestly don't think I'm going to hear back. I don't get it. I really don't know. And in fact, let me just look at my email one more time. I wish I had more to say here. Let me do a search really quick just to see maybe they've added us and they haven't told me. All right, Theology Central. Nope. If you type in Theology Central, Issues, etc., shows up. Issues, etc. does a lot of criticism of modern day evangelicalism. So if you type in Theology Central, Issues, etc., comes up. Theology and the Raw comes up. They talk about a lot of controversial stuff. Theology Curator with Kurt Willems. I don't know who that is. That's it, and you can load more. So I don't know. Pastor Rick Warren's on there. Abby Johnson's on there. Charlotte Pence Bond is on there. I'm looking at here, I mean, they got so much on here that, of course, MacArthur's on there, of course, you can tell everyone that there is no pandemic and you're perfectly okay to be on a Christian, podcast. I think this is.
Hi, I'm Robert Jeffress.
Robert Jeffress is on there. Obviously, Mr. A politician, basically, Trump, got to elect Trump. He's on there. I'm just going through there. There's Joyce Meyer. She's on there. There's Beth Moore. I'm just going on here. Andy Stanley's on there. I don't think he's on here. Let me look. I don't think he's on here. I could be wrong. Let me look. Rod Parsley's podcast is on there. Okay, that is Crazy World. All right. Thinking Fellows is on there. Okay. All right, yeah, I'm just looking at what else, I don't see Rod Bell being on there, okay? But who knows? I'd have to look. But bottom line is, we fit in other words, we fit in the middle of all of that. Like there seems to be no theological parameters for what can be allowed on the Edifi app. So what is it about us? I just don't get it. It would be one thing if they would just say, you know what? You did a podcast where you said this and we don't want, okay. But just be consistent. It's just weird. Christians get so upset if YouTube, bans a Christian channel. Oh, we lose it. We go crazy. We're like, we're being persecuted. YouTube or Facebook, bans a post that some Christian, we're being persecuted. We're constantly saying big tech is coming after us. Twitter is coming after us. YouTube is coming after us. We're constantly saying cancel culture is after us. And then here's a Christian podcast app who clearly doesn't even have a doctrinal statement one has to agree to, has everything on there. And then I can't get on there. I can't. And then they won't just tell me what's going on. It's like they just keep stringing me along. To me, it's just like, look, the Christian websites do this, YouTube does this, and sometimes the rules of determining what can be allowed or not allowed, what should be shut down or what shouldn't be shut down, is so arbitrary. Again, go back to years ago on Sermon Audio. Dr. Scott Johnson gets banned. He gets booted. I think they gave him a 2-week notice and boom, he was gone. And yeah, I talked to people at Sermon Audio about some of his content. I did, because I was like, this guy, I think he was saying that don't get the flu vaccine because it has a computer chip in it and the Antichrist is going to, some crazy stuff. I don't remember all the words. So don't quote me on that because I don't have the words in front of me. That was like, I don't know, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, a long time ago. But he was gone. Well, all right, if you're going to say no conspiracy theories allowed, well, then why do you have crazy stuff? Right now, if you subscribe to the Sermon Audio News and Focus, which is just kind of interesting because I'm the one who created that. I created the News and Focus program for Sermon Audio. There's just crazy stuff on there now. Okay, well, that's perfectly fine. Well, if the crazy stuff is allowed, why did Scott Johnson get the boot? It's arbitrary. There seems to be no consistency. It's like either what are you going to do? So I understand that. All I'm saying is this: Edifi, obviously, they don't have to include me. I understand that. It's not my app. I completely respect that. But I just think it's so weird how Christian sites can do this kind of thing. And it's perfectly okay. But as soon as Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube or anywhere else says, your Christian program, we don't really want that. We call that hate speech or whatever their reasoning is. We start screaming we're being persecuted. Well, no. Obviously, a site has the freedom to do what they want. I just think it's really weird that Edifi won't even tell me what's going on, and I can't get an answer. I've received answers from I've emailed countless podcasting apps before and had far better interaction, professional, communicate with me, tell me this is what we need, this is what we want, we won't allow this, and have really communicated with me and helped me through the process to get our programs on different apps. They've been very reasonable, very articulated exactly, and Edifi, like I get an email today, tell us about your church. What do you mean I sent you the link to the church website. Why didn't you ask me from the very first email? Okay, we need to listen. This is what we're going to be listening for, and we need this information. Why wouldn't you have done that the very first email? Right? I don't get it. So that's where we are. I'm very frustrated about it. I'm ready to kind of move on. Again, I'm very discouraged that I thought this was a potential audience that we could really kind of expand what we're trying to do. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Life moves on, whatever. I'm clearly never, I've always felt an outsider to the Christian world. I mean, I got kicked off Christian radio for crying out loud, right? So I'm always been an outsider within the Christian world, which is kind of weird when you're an outsider of Christianity. And yet I'm a Christian who holds to historical biblical Christianity, right? And have strived to try to understand historical biblical Christianity, understand all of the theological disputes that's happened within 2,000 years of Christianity, and try to teach the Bible to the best of my ability. But you have to feel like an outsider. That's just, sometimes you just feel like, what's the point? Just give up and go play for the other team. But obviously I can't do that because of truth. But from a human perspective, sometimes you're like, look, man, what's the deal? So there you have it. That's the latest. So you can email me your thoughts. Maybe you can tell me what's going on. Maybe you can explain it to me. I don't get it, but there's the update. Audible, no problem. Audible, Amazon Music even reached out to us even before. Amazon Music reached out. This is what's so crazy. Amazon Music contacted us prior to, I want to make sure you hear this, prior to them releasing the podcast, feature on Amazon Music. Before they placed any podcast on there, they had reached out to us and asked if we wanted to be included on Amazon Music. So Amazon Music reaches out to us. A Christian app, I can't even get a response from. Pandora, I got emails from Pandora the other day. There's still some weird, I don't know what's going on with Pandora. They're still working with us. They're having some kind of technical issue, but we may end up on Pandora soon. So we're on Deezer, a music streaming app. We're on SoundCloud, primarily a music streaming platform. We're on Spotify, primarily a music streaming platform. We're on Amazon Music, primarily a music streaming platform. You see what's going on here? Okay. So we're on the music streaming platforms. We got no problem, no issue. But for the Christian podcasting platform, it's like, well, wait a minute here. We've got to check you out. But while we're checking you out, here, go listen to Ravi Zacharias. Nothing to be concerned about there, okay? Just all kinds of accusations flying, investigations going on of possible illegal activity. But hey, that's okay. Illegal activity is fine. It's just, come on. I mean, and how are they going to hold all of they've got 2 million podcasts. How are they going to monitor all of those podcasts to determine if content is going to meet their criteria? They're not. So just say that we're a platform available to Christian podcasters, and listener has to use their own discretion. And of course, if something is reported that it's filled with, threats of violence, something illegal, then we'll have to take the necessary remedy to remove said content. I can understand that, but I mean, why? if you start trying to police it beyond that, you get yourself into a nightmare. So I don't understand, but there we are. You can email me your thoughts to newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. All right. And I'll keep you updated. Let me check one more time. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check here. Go back to my email just to see if by chance. What? Okay. All right. Monergism Books, got an email from them. I got an email from, hang on, give me something, from a news agency. What is this? All right. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. All right. There's a lot of things going on here that I won't talk about in this episode because they don't relate to what we're talking about. But we'll try to turn the mic on here in a second and get back on the air and talk about those things. So still no reply from Edifi. Still, I've never seen anything like it. It really I don't get it. I really don't understand. So there you have it. That's the latest, and we'll keep you posted. And as always, I need you. Like the podcasting apps, they don't really care to help me out. I need you, the listener. So anything you can do, subscribe, download, stream, play, share, leave reviews, leave ratings. Those things are always helpful. And if you go to the theologycentral.net pod page, theologycentral.net, go to the review section. There's a thing called, let me see. Let me just look at it really quick. You do have to sign up. You have to put in your email and a password. But let me go to it really quick. Go to theologycentral.net. It's opening. The website's been working slow today. Give me 1 second. Yeah, if you go to reviews, give me 1 second, theologycentral.net, go to reviews, it'll say rate show, and you can rate on Apple Podcast, or you can rate us on Podchaser. Now, if you go to Podchaser, then you can leave a review and a rating. You'll have to sign up, but that gets us more reviews. And the reviews show up on the Theology Central pod page, right? Someone on August the 25th said, I was sad when the News and Focus program went offline. Looking forward to hearing Trevor's perspective again. Excited for this podcast. Someone else in May said, this pastor gives in-depth teaching. Expect to be challenged. If you're looking for spiritual meat, you have found the right place. Someone else put the absolute best at looking at the world through a biblical lens. Someone else put awesome, very informative and up to date. Thank you. So those are some of the reviews that we have. Now, those are helpful. You can also, I think you can leave a voicemail. You can leave a voicemail to Theology Central. I don't know if those voicemails actually get posted on the site so other people can hear them. They may get sent to me for approval. I have no idea. But the bottom line is the reviews, you can leave a review, and that review is helpful in getting us, some kind of traction. So we need you. As a small podcaster, there's no one else out there trying to help us. I mean, Spotify could care less if we succeed or don't succeed, right? Apple Podcasts, they don't care if we succeed. They don't care. We're irrelevant. We're just a number. None of those other podcasting platforms are like, hey, what can we do to help you? No. They're like, what can you do to bring people to our app? That's what they want, okay? And trust me, the Christian podcasting app is no different. They're not trying to help us. So, it's your help. It's that simple. The more committed the listeners are, the greater. You don't need a large number. You just need a small number of very committed people who will listen, because the more you listen, the more we become more visible. The more reviews you leave, the more we become visible. So it's that simple. So that's the way it works. I'm getting notifications. What notifications did I just get? Let me see if it's anything important. Oh, I got I got notifications from Edifi, new episode from Thinking Fellows, and new episode from Issues, etc. See, that's awesome. They when other podcasts are available, they send notifications. But let me just look one more time, just to make sure they haven't emailed me. Let me look, and nothing. They won't respond. They will not respond. So there we have it. If you want to contact Edifi and go, hey, what's the deal? Why will you not include Theology Central podcast? What is the problem? Feel free to. Just do it in a godly way, not an ungodly way. Don't be mean or rude. You could just simply say, hey, I love your app, but it's missing Theology Central, VBC, the VBC Bible Institute, and the Non-Catholic Catholic podcast. So they're all Christian podcasts. Why are they not available on a podcast that supposedly features Christian podcast? Over 2 million of them. So there you go. All right, we'll stop right there, and I'll be back live on the air here shortly. We got a lot to talk about today, but I wanted to get that out of the way. All right, everyone have a wonderful day. Look forward to hearing from you. Please contact me anytime. Your emails are always, I'm always happy to see that you email me. Thank you. Some of you emailed me recently. Just thank you, encouragement, and I appreciate it. And everyone have a great day. God bless.